There is a truth most people never learn. A truth that quietly shapes their entire lives. A truth that explains why some people rise while others remain stuck at the starting line. It's this: motivation isn't coming to save you, and it's not supposed to. You've been taught to wait for a feeling, a spark, a moment of inspiration, a sudden surge of energy that pushes you forward. But here's what no one tells you. Motivation is the most unreliable fuel you can build a life on. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself that tomorrow you'll start? Tomorrow you'll have the energy. Tomorrow you'll feel ready. But tomorrow came, and you still didn't feel motivated enough. This is the trap almost everyone falls into without even realizing it. And yet, there's another path. A quieter path. A more powerful path. It's the one truth that authors like James Clear, Carl Jung, and Napoleon Hill all pointed toward, each from completely different worlds. A truth that doesn't rely on inspiration. A truth that doesn't vanish when you're tired. A truth that doesn't collapse the moment life becomes heavy. It's the truth that real transformation is built on structure, not motivation. On identity, not emotion, on unconscious programming, not temporary excitement. And once you understand this, everything about your life begins to change. So, let's begin. There will come a day in your life, a quiet, ordinary day, when you'll finally understand why you've been stuck for so long. It won't be dramatic. It won't be loud. It won't be cinematic. It'll happen in a small moment, when you look at your life and realize, it's not that I'm weak. It's that I've been building my entire existence on a feeling that disappears the moment I need it. That realization hits like a cold wave because it forces you to confront the truth. You've been chasing motivation instead of building discipline. You've been waiting for inspiration instead of constructing identity. You've been hoping for the right mood instead of creating the right environment. And here's what's even more important. It was never your fault. Every message you've ever heard about self-improvement has told you that you need motivation to begin. But almost no one tells you that motivation is only ever present after you begin, not before. It's not the starting point. It's the side effect. And when you truly absorb this, your whole world starts to shift. Let's dive deeper. Why is motivation such a bad foundation for change? Psychologically, motivation is a state, a temporary emotional spike, a neurological cocktail that fluctuates based on sleep, stress, mood, environment, and even what you ate for breakfast. And yet, most people treat motivation as if it has a solid structure, something they can build a life around. But as author James Clear explains, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means something profound. Your life does not change because you want it to. Your life changes because your identity and environment make the desired behaviors inevitable. Napoleon Hill said something remarkably similar, almost a century earlier. The subconscious mind will translate any thought into reality through repetition and habit. Notice the pattern. James Clear talks about systems. Napoleon Hill talks about repetition. Carl Jung talks about the unconscious. Three different thinkers, one message. Who you become is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by how you occasionally feel. Feelings fluctuate. Identity endures. Systems stabilize behavior. Habits rewire the unconscious. Motivation comes and goes, like weather. Carl Jung believed that we're not as conscious as we think we are. He argued that most of our behaviors are driven by patterns far deeper than our daily mood. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This means, if your unconscious identity is I'm inconsistent, or I can't stick to things, or I need motivation to begin, then these beliefs will sabotage you before you even start, no matter how motivated you feel in the moment, because the unconscious identity always wins. Always. So the real task isn't generating motivation. The real task is transforming identity. Let me say something that might surprise you. Discipline is not about being strong. Discipline is about being structured. It's not a personality trait. It's not a moral virtue. It's not some heroic internal force. Discipline is simply the design of your environment plus the stories you tell yourself. It's architecture, not attitude. And here's what no one tells you. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation changes when your feelings change. Discipline changes when your environment changes. This is why people who appear disciplined aren't relying on willpower. They're relying on systems that make success almost automatic. Napoleon Hill wrote, "You are the master of your destiny, because you are the master of your habits, not your goals, not your intentions, not your bursts of inspiration, your habits. The small actions, the invisible choices, the routines that run your life silently, day after day." And this leads us to the heart of the message. Here's the turning point. The thing that separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. Motivated people act when they feel like it. Disciplined people act because it's who they are. See the difference? Motivation says, "I want to feel inspired before I begin." Discipline says, "I begin and inspiration follows." Identity says, "This is who I am now." Let me show you how these thinkers connect. Carl Jung believed identity emerges from the unconscious. Napoleon Hill believed identity is shaped through repeated thought. James Clear believes identity is built through repeated action. And the truth is, they're all right. Your unconscious identity is shaped by the stories you tell yourself. Those stories create actions. Those actions create habits. Those habits become your character. And that character becomes your destiny. So if you want a different destiny, you don't wait for different motivation. You create different habits. Those habits create a different character. That character creates a different destiny. This is the architecture of transformation. And once you understand this, motivation becomes irrelevant. If you want motivation to stop controlling your life, if you want to escape the cycle of starting and quitting, if you want to become someone who can build something meaningful, you must build 3 things. 1. Identity-based habits. Instead of saying, "I want to get fit," you say, "I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts." Instead of saying, "I want to read more," you say, "I'm the kind of person who reads every day." Identity is powerful because it activates the unconscious. It rewires the deeper part of you, the part that Carl Jung called the shadow and the self. 2. Small, stable systems. James Clear calls this atomic habits. Napoleon Hill calls it autosuggestion. Carl Jung calls it integration. Different names, same truth. Small, consistent actions change your life far more than big emotional surges. 3. Environmental design. This is the part people ignore. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than your motivation does. If your phone is next to your bed, you will scroll. If your running shoes are next to the door, you will run. If your workspace is chaotic, your mind will be too. Discipline is not built through willpower. It's built through design. Change your environment, and your behavior follows. Change your behavior, and your identity follows. Change your identity, and your entire life follows. Most people learn this truth only when life forces them to. When motivation disappears completely, when they reach a breaking point, when they finally admit to themselves, "If I keep waiting to feel ready, I will never begin." Pain teaches it. Failure teaches it. Exhaustion teaches it. Responsibility teaches it. But I want you to understand it now, before life pushes you into it, because here's the hidden truth. Motivation is a child. Discipline is an adult. Identity is the architect. Most people stay children forever, always waiting for the good feeling that tells them, "Now you can start." But life doesn't reward children. Life rewards architects, builders, designers, creators of their own internal landscape. And you can become one of them if you stop chasing motivation and start constructing identity. Think about this for a moment. If you woke up tomorrow with the identity of someone who is disciplined, structured, and consistent, what would change? Everything. Your mornings, your thoughts, your choices. your habits, your confidence, your relationships, your future. Success would stop being an emotional pursuit and become an inevitable outcome. Napoleon Hill describes this as the power of definiteness. Carl Jung describes it as individuation. James Clear describes it as identity reinforcement. Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche described it as becoming the higher self. Different languages, same truth. You are meant to become something far stronger than a person who waits for motivation. You are meant to become a creator, the author of your own becoming. Now ask yourself, what would your life look like 1 year from now if you stopped relying on motivation entirely and started building discipline and identity instead? Imagine that version of you. Imagine their habits. Imagine their calmness. Imagine their strength. That person is not far away. They are one decision away. So eritis. The truth, almost everyone learns to let your life change when you feel motivated. Your life will change when you change your identity. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Identity is destiny. Carl Jung believed we become whole by integrating our unconscious patterns. Napoleon Hill believed we build success by programming the subconscious through repetition. James Clear believed we build identity through small, repeated habits. And the remarkable thing is, they all point to the same path. The path you can begin today. Not through a surge of motivation, but through a single action. A small choice. A habit that reinforces the story. This is who I am now. So stop chasing motivation. Let it go. It was never supposed to guide your life. Build systems. Build structure. Build identity. Build discipline. Because when you do that, motivation doesn't disappear. It becomes unnecessary. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Becoming You and keep growing with us. And if you watched until the very end, comment the word structure and share your thoughts below.